welcome to Homeschool Peace. I'm Cassandra. I'm mother of 3 young kids. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the Language Arts curriculum, the Logic of English Foundations Level C. Today I'm going to be sharing what's different in C from the other levels that we've gone through, A and B, as well as sharing some sample lessons for you so that you can have a chance to see the program. Now, if you have not used anything with Logic of English before and you're new to it, I would encourage you to check out some of the videos I have below. I have an overview of the program as well as a video for levels A and B. Choosing curriculum can be really hard. My kids are actually second-generation homeschoolers, as I was homeschooled and my husband was homeschooled as kids. So we watched our parents select curriculum, and now that we are the teachers, we're selecting curriculum for our family, and it can be overwhelming because there are so many choices out there. So I hope this video today just gives you some insight in this program, which will then obviously help you make a choice on what is the right curriculum for your family. So let's just go into first for level C, what is new for this program? So this program is for kindergarteners to first graders. This program, you cannot jump in directly to C. So it assumes that you have gone through at least level B of the program. The next thing about it is everyone uses the exact same workbook. In levels A and level B, you're able to select if you want manuscript or cursive, but in B, everything is written in the book in book face. And they want the child to be able to see the letters written in book face, whether it's a sentence or some words, and they want them to be able to then do some copywriting, but then writing that book face in the style they learned, cursive or manuscript. So what I would highly recommend is getting the desk card. This is just a desk strip that you can get from the Logic of English site. You can buy it in either cursive or manuscript. And I just put it right in front of my kids while they're using it in this level. When you're bringing up some dictation or copy work and the kid sees it in book face, there are going to be times that they're not going to remember how to make a specific uppercase or lowercase letter, and they are going to need to reference that card. And if your kid does forget how to write a letter while they're in C, it's no big deal. Just go ahead and get out your tactical cards, the sandpaper cards, and have them trace those letters, practice those letters, so that then they remember how to do it. So that is one big difference. Same workbook, just you're using the different styles. The next thing that you're going to see as part of the program is you're going to dive into more spelling rules. You see some spelling rules happening in B, but we see tons in level C. And we go into specifically the silent final E rules. We walk through them as part of the program and teaching our kids in C. So we learn that the silent E added to the word isn't just so that it makes the vowel say its long sound. It's used for other purposes, such as that every syllable must have a written vowel, or it could be added to the end of the word to make the word not look plural, or even that the E, the silent E, is added so that the G makes it just sound and the C makes it sound because of the E. So you're going to be going through all the different spelling rules with the silent final E as part of the program. You also are going to be seeing the introduction of suffixes and prefixes, and also compound words. Next thing that you start introducing your kids to is morphemes. So this is not just that your kid knows how to segment a word or that they know the phonograms that make up the word, but they're able to look at a word and be able to identify its unit of meaning and be able to break up the word, how many units of meaning are for each word. This then later becomes important in Foundations D, as well as definitely into the later Essentials program. The other great thing about the program, that as the teacher, I actually really enjoy doing this, is that the lesson book has 40 lessons in it, and that each section, there's 5 lessons in each section. So when you go through a 5-lesson section, there's a theme with it. And as the teacher, you can make this as cool as you want it to be. So maybe the theme is about robots, or transportation, or kids, or birds. Whatever the theme is, you get to dive into that theme, and you can add to the lessons by maybe playing some additional games, reading some books, doing some research, watching some videos. Maybe the theme is on dolphins, and you're able to dive into some dolphin theme activities for those couple weeks that you're going through those 5 lessons. And those types of ideas are included right into the instructional guide as additional ideas while going through the program. With each of these themes, you start with the group of the 5 lessons, and the first one of the 5, they end up doing a pre-reading activity. And this could be simply just looking at some pictures and trying to figure out some thoughts they might have, and it actually brings in some beginning adjectives that they're starting to sort of create and write down about different objects that they see, or items, or an animal that they're looking at. Then they go into the next one of reading their reader for that lesson. It's the small readers that we see as part of the program, and the reader is tied right to that same theme. Then the next day they would then reread the same reader, but now there's comprehension questions added to it. And then later, on the last lesson, there's always an activity that's also with the same theme, and maybe it's an additional creative writing activity, or they're just writing some thoughts about what they went through as part of those 5 lessons. Tied to that theme is also where we see our copywriting and dictation. So copywriting we've seen as part of the Level B program. They have the sentence written, the child rewrites it down below. Again, in Foundation C, they're seeing it written in book face, and then they're rewriting it, whether in cursive or manuscript. In Level C, we start seeing dictation, and that's when the teacher is actually just saying the sentence to the child, and they need to remember the sentence. Then they need to actually spell the sentence, and there's no sentence written out for them to be able just to copy down. So with my kids, that in the very beginning of the program, that was a big jump for them. That's something I had to take a little slower. I had to work with them with the spelling of those words, and maybe break the lessons up a little bit more when going through a dictation part of the lesson. When they got towards the end of C, I noticed that they were able to go through it easier and were able to spell those words easier. So if you are going through C and your child is having a little bit of trouble with the dictation, just slow it down a little bit. I would say overall for the Level C program, most of my lessons did take about 2 to sometimes 3 days, especially if you want to add in some of the extra activities with maybe the themed activities of watching some videos or doing some additional research on the theme of the week. The next thing that we, as part of the program, is we see some new chapter books. So there's 2 chapter books, and they're the Miles and Jack books, and there are 4 chapters in each of the books, and they're right around 50 to 60 pages, which is just great for the kids to get their hands on, and then they suddenly get to a point that they realize that they're not just reading little tiny readers, that they're actually starting to read some chapter books, and they're free to start reading some bigger and harder books, and it's just exciting for them. The program also has Knitting Nights, which is the picture book as part of the program that has the phonograms they're going to be learning. They do learn a whole nother grouping of phonograms as part of the program, similar to what we went through in B, but just all new ones. And we see the great pictures that's in the Knitting Nights book with the words that correspond to the phonograms that they're learning. So that's just a great book to walk through as they're learning their new phonograms. All right, so that's what's new as part of the program. And there are still the same things that we've gone through with levels A and B. You're still going to be going through the phonograms and reviewing everything that you've gone through with A and B. You're going to be practicing handwriting. There is vocabulary. You are going to be working with your spelling. You're going to be finger spelling and going through the spelling analysis process. There is some early creative writing. So all the things that you've enjoyed and gone through as part of the A and B program, still expect those things, but definitely all those great new things that are added as part of the Level C program. All right, now I'm just going to walk through a grouping of lessons as part of C. As I said, we see this with the 5 lessons in a row that it's themed, and I think that's important to see, and as the teacher to be able to see through how they all are connected. So the example I'm going through is lesson 111. Now in this lesson, it would start first with a new phonogram. So the phonogram that we would be learning is actually our past tense ending phonogram, our ed-t. So it makes 3 sounds, ed-t. So just like we've seen with the other program, we're going to have the kids write out their new phonogram. They write it on their whiteboard. They're going to be practicing and selecting which one they think is the best. Then they're going to be listening for some sounds of the ed-t as you say words to them and talking to past tense words, identifying, is it making its eh or its d or its t sound, and listening for it in the words. Then we have our worksheet that we go through with the day for the day of the ED words. And then we even start making a chart of our past tense words. As we go through it and we're finding new words that have the past tense ending, that's a chart that you can keep building upon as you're going through the lessons of this program. Then we have some reading practice, and they're going to be reading words that have their past tense ending. As part of this lesson that I'm going through, they would also then go through a phonogram treasure hunt. They're going to be trying to find the phonograms throughout the room. This phonogram treasure hunt you can do with just one kid, or if you have other kids that are going through the program. I have always been teaching, say, one in level A while I have another kid going in level C. These are great games that you can actually combine some of your kids together. So say if you have a kid that's just learning their single letter phonograms while your oldest is maybe in level C, you can actually play a lot of these games together and have the older ones searching for, say, multi-letter phonograms while you have your younger one searching for your single letter phonograms. And that's a great way to be able to combine your kids while you're trying to go through their lessons together. After you would go through that, we also have our spelling list of the day, and we can see our words for the day are done, planted, push, called, tunnels. Then we have our worksheet, which is our 3-syllable words. As part of the program, we are identifying multiple syllables. We are identifying open and closed syllables, and that's just as part of the program. We also have a pre-reading exercise. So with all of these, we are going to first take a moment and just, whether it's looking at certain pictures or just doing a little activity, it gets the theme started for this grouping. So the grouping that I'm going through is specifically for the country of Vietnam, and it is in an area of Ha Long Bay. Now, our reader for this period is called Ha Long Bay. And so the very first thing they're going to be doing is just looking at some pictures, and that is part of their workbook page, and just identifying, where would this place be and what type of land features are there. What's really great about this section is then you're pulling even out your world map and you're showing your kid, where is this on our globe or our map? And then we're going through some descriptive words. In this section, we're just talking about how we can describe Ha Long Bay and how we can have better words to describe. You're not really teaching them that they're adjectives yet, but you are sort of saying, how can we make this sound better? Instead of just the bird flew, can we say maybe the bluebird flew? And trying to make your child think about words that could describe their nouns in a better way. And then after they go through that, they're going to finish with their pre-reading, looking at their pictures, and basically providing some sentences on what that area of Ha Long Bay is like. So that brings you into the next few lessons, and I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but I wanted to specifically on what happens as part of this grouping of 5 lessons. So you will see that in the next lesson, they would then reread the same book, and this time there's a lot of questions. We start going into really great comprehension questions about Ha Long Bay. In the next lesson, they end up going back into Ha Long Bay, back into this book, and they actually use the pictures that they had from the very first lesson that we went through, 111, and they actually cut out those pictures, and the activity they get to do is to create a travel guide if somebody wanted to go visit Ha Long Bay. And that really works through those descriptive words that you're teaching your child how to describe their nouns and being able to put those down in words. And maybe their child isn't really writing full sentences, and that's where you can help out in this project, but they're writing down details and you're helping them with the finger spelling while they're writing a travel guide. And when they're done, they have something that that's produced afterwards that they can show their family members and friends, like, here's my travel guide if you ever want to go to Vietnam and go to Ha Long Bay. So there you have it. That's the end of Foundations Level C. Everything that you've gone through in A and B all get included in this program. You're going to be using all the same pieces and just adding upon the foundation that you created with A and B, and then eventually, obviously, moving to the next level, which is Level D. So if you enjoyed this video, I just ask you to click that like button, click subscribe, And leave some comments below if you like the Foundations program, if you use it, or if you have questions about level C or anything that I went through today. Just ask some questions. I would love to answer it for you. So I will talk to you later. Goodbye.